So I want to welcome you again to another segment. This is so valuable in the likes as far as growing, getting better in the likes together and also independently, right? I think that's not so much of an assumption. At this point in time, I want to tell a story, right? A good story as far as something that was a learning lesson for myself, because I'm 27 now. Obviously, I might be better than I was at 16, right? Maybe not. Or yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. That's the progress, right? So, at 13, you have a different mind state than when you're 16. When you're 20, you have a different mind state from when you were 16 in the likes. Not that like you've changed like as a totality or wholly in the likes, but it's just that, I mean, obviously if you're not progressing, if you're not evolving, then you're kind of you're probably not doing so good at this life stuff and the likes. And it's not that you gotta be Einstein, okay? And it's not that you gotta be so into everything that I'm so into in the likes, right? You can do whatever pleases you. Sometimes that's the best thing about life. In the real obstacle, sometimes the real challenge of life is just the whole idea that, as it's been suggested, sometimes you got to turn literally whatever your talent may be. It may be in pottery, right? Maybe you're artistic type, or maybe you're good with your words, or maybe you're good with your oration, or maybe you're good with your writing, or maybe you're good with your technology, or maybe you're good at fixing shit, computers or cars, or I mean, the potential is limitless. It's just that you got to learn how to, and this is really all it takes is to make something great of yourself is literally just figuring out whatever you may be good at. And I've come to agree with the idea that you're good at whatever you may take the time to attempt frequently, right? So just make sure you're getting good at the right things that are going to benefit you over the long term. But it's true that if you want to, you gotta want to figure out how to be ingenious. Use your ingenuity to totally turn whatever your talent is into a possible money tree, right? So, and I know I can't speak wholly for everybody because, like I've always suggested, talent bestows all of us unequally, right? So, that's a general truth. But at the same token, everybody has value, everybody has skills, and it's just about creating utility, right? So I think that we can all agree. So at the same token, back to the main story, the subject I want to suggest is sometimes, let me tell a story that has once been suggested to me. So I think this might bring benefit because sometimes analogies and iterations and also testimonies from other people, even if it's depicted through a second party or the likes, right? Because you may not have seen this information, but nonetheless, I'm relaying this information more or less verbatim or paraphrase, right? So at the same token, with a little bit of analytics, analyzation and the likes, right? So with a little bit of analyzing it also incorporated too. So let me take this hat off, this prototypal hat, and I love saying that whole idea 101, baby. It makes me feel good, baby. But at the same token, I want to totally get you in the game too, because you're fucking with the best, baby. You're fucking with the best. So again, onto the subject, literally what Warren Buffett suggested, right? So everybody knows Warren Buffett. As many people in finance have suggested to me, the motherfucking oracle of okay, we're not gonna even go there at this point in time in the likes, but at the same token, a lot of people that I spoke to with some students, I know some I've taken lessons from PhDs and the likes, and I've also spoke with some students too, right? And the students particularly suggest, that they're just ranting and raving about, and that's the opportunity you can create if it wasn't created for you, because he actually maybe had mentorship at a young age. So the younger you get into the game, it's self-explanatory. The easier it will be over the long term to succeed to the highest extent. Your potential, right? Your fucking potential. So that's so true. But again, back to the story that Warren suggested, right? So literally, Warren Buffett literally suggested that, the whole idea that this is a profound principle, right? So I hope we all take heed to this. And again, like I always joke about, I might even take this video, rewind it to the back or to the beginning, and then totally watch it my damn self. Because sometimes you got to check yourself before you check the world, right? So it's so true. And again, what Warren has suggested is such a profound principle and the likes, as far as what needs to be shared with some of the youth and the likes, as far as, sometimes you want to be careful with getting so far behind, because then it sometimes makes it hard to catch up. And again, to emphasize a quotation from the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, sometimes it's better to go broke before 30 so you have plenty of time to recover. So that's two compares and contrasts. But again, back to Warren Buffett, what he's suggesting is that you don't want to get so far behind in the likes. What he suggested also, he says there's great value in the collegiate levels and the likes as far as learning, right? So it's obviously a great place to be, and obviously a great time to experiment and find yourself or whatever. Like schooling, though, no matter what, though, you got to keep learning, right? But what he suggested was that I mean, maybe Harvard is going to come string me up. I don't know. But at the same token, what he suggested that an accounting class at Harvard, like, in his opinion, wouldn't really differ from an accounting class at maybe your state university or your local university or the likes, right? So at the same token, I know that that's not this, that's not that, but at the same token, it does reign truth with a grain of salt, because, I mean, I guess sometimes the best scenario from an Ivy League school or the likes is just that the network you build, right? Because it's got some esteemed individuals and also the faculty's esteemed, but there's esteemed people everywhere, understand? So at the same token, I think some of the most value is that, they're doing really big things. Some of the greatest advents really came out of some of these more premium schools and the likes, but it can happen anywhere. So never limit yourself. And again, I was just trying to emphasize not this or that, but just that, accounting classes anywhere will be somewhat similar, and everybody gets the game and it's what you do with it, right? So, but it is true that, a great, profound individual, if an individual is very, very fucking intellectual, very, very on their shit, knows their theory, maybe has experience, practice, implementation, and that can rub off on you. And that's aside from what's one of the most prominent, valuable things is just that, connections, right? So it's so true. So true. But again, what I want to suggest was that, sometimes things don't need to be more difficult than they have to be, right? Sometimes you can make things simple, right? So if you're able to create yourself, there has been in industrialized world, there's been relatively handsome salaries for many, and even moderate salaries for a majority, right? I mean, for the most part, right? And at the same token, it's so true. And if not, what's so critical is either entrepreneurship or literally a specialization in some type of trade, whether it be computers or mechanics or machinists or coding or this or that, right? So those are some of the truest pathways, but that's neither here nor there, right? But at the same token, it's so true that sometimes you want to automate the processes, right? So you got to, like I've always suggested. And am I rambling yet? Like you could tell when I start to ramble, baby. I start to ramble because I don't have anything written down. And fucking, improv is a hell of a fucking gift. A motherfucking blessing and a motherfucking gift, baby. That's the general truth. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, you want to automate stuff. So like I've suggested, in Rich Dad Poor Dad, again, a great book. I read this book in one day. That was the first book I ever read in one fucking day. So that was like, I know that's not shit, man, but like, for someone that like never read a book until like a late stage in life, it's so true that, that was an accomplishment I was proud of. I was like, damn, I didn't even, when you're like, at first you think that type of shit's not possible, but then once you you strengthen your mind strength and the likes, you can realize that you can even do more than that if you really wanted to. I'm not into all that because you get, get exhausted in the likes, but literally, I read that book in one day, and literally also what it suggested was that, just that whole idea of automation, right? So I think maybe it wasn't that book that recommended that, but I know it's been recommended. Oh no, that's not what it recommended. It recommended you pay yourself first. Always pay yourself. These motherfuckers will get their motherfucking money, whatever, man. That motherfucker will get his motherfucking money, but make sure you're getting your motherfucking money too, just like they are. So that's what's so critical, so important. So I think there's value in that. And let me think if I have any other breadths of conversation to talk about. For the most part, you just got to keep trucking, keep working hard, be thankful for blessings. Never, like I've suggested in one of my quotations on Twitter, you know, a person going out of their way to make someone feel terrible doesn't make them great, nor you terrible. So I think that's some deep shit, man. And I think that's so true. So I mean, obviously live your fucking life. It's not about this or that. You can't be so fucking sensitive, but it's true that, man, you don't gotta go out of your way to you know, do this or do that, or, you know, the likes. You know, sometimes people are doing the best they can, and sometimes you gotta realize that you or I or even if it wasn't, you know, in the likes, you can always get better later in life, right? Too. But same token, sometimes you've been given more than many, so sometimes you got to keep that in perspective too. So, you know, sometimes there's just lots to be thankful for, right? So, like, regardless of the situation, and sometimes, you know, it's sometimes, like, especially in an industrialized nation, sometimes, you know, when you've seen some real shit in the likes, and you totally, sometimes, like, being down on your luck and the likes can totally give you that hunger, that will, that's so powerful, if harnessed, right? So thinking that kind of perspective, and you can do anything. So sometimes people, this is what really gets the person down, because, you know, if you think that, how should I put this? If you think that, like, some people, there's two types of people, right? People that get motivated, or people that get, like, you know, disappointed in themselves and the likes. And you can have that for a moment of time, but at the same token, then you want to get back to that right thinking. That's literally like the idea that, shit, I'm gonna make a way. There's a will. There's a fucking way. I'm gonna get smart. Fuck. And then what is the ramification of getting smarter? Reading every day, studying the game and the likes, is just the idea that you're probably gonna get richer, man. I mean, it goes hand in hand at the same token, right? So. And you don't even have to be all that intellectual in the likes, right? You can learn from someone that's all that intellectual in the likes, get tips. And sometimes, like I said, you automate everything and it's all simplistic. Like, literally, Warren suggested, I don't know how they were always talking about all these IQ type shit, but literally the same token, Warren was saying that, you know, you don't even need that high of an IQ. You just gotta have some steady papes and automate this shit paying your fucking self, and fucking, just fucking diversify, motherfucker. Buy some fucking real estate, you know, stock and bond investing, again, to concrete the three principles of wealth. Stock and bond investing, real estate, land ownership, investing, or the likes, and totally entrepreneurship. So it doesn't take so much. I mean, maybe connections too, network, because people is where the opportunity lies, right? So maybe that should be inclusive, right? Included in the pillars of wealth. So at the same token, you know, we're getting better still. And again, what I wanted to tell, the original story that I got so off track, right? That's what happens. Let me say my catchphrase: do you love when I ramble, or do you hate it when I motherfucking ramble? That's the damn truth. Leave a fucking comment. You know, oh, of course. Let me write this down so I don't forget. Okay, I'm not gonna forget now. Let me make sure I circle this. Okay, at the same time, what I was gonna say is that you know, just keep doing your thing, and I want you to take a moment at this point in time to totally share this you know, this experience. You know, it's a learning experience for the both of us. You know, we're getting better at technology. You know, we're staying young at heart. We're exercising a little bit more frequently than I mean, maybe not as much. Like, you know, sometimes you were an exercise addict when you were young, right? That's the truth. But at the same time, sometimes, you know, just now it's gotten to the point that if you're not a professional athlete, which would be really cool, and like, sometimes you're just, you know, staying on your health tip, right? And sometimes, like a dietitian has suggested, you know, what your actual appetite or literally your diet is more influential in your body mass and your actual physical appearance than actually maybe even exercise and the likes, right? So, you know, trying to eat healthful at times, you know, but you know, you got to experience life too, so it's not so so drastic and the likes. But let me tell you what I wrote down. Let me see here. Okay, this is the last breath of the conversation. And it's really literally about, at the same token, sometimes you don't learn about so much of these pillars of wealth in school and life, right? So at the same token, it's so true that sometimes people are late learners and the likes because they didn't, you might have had the highest intellect in the likes, but sometimes you got to find this information that's so key. Because think about it. Whoever has the most information is most likely to win, whether it be life or a game or whatever, right? If you have inside information, not inside information, because we'll keep that sounds a little bit sketchy in the likes, but if you have the information that's out there that everybody has, if they reach out and grasp it, right, then you're totally at an advantage to someone that didn't reach out and grasp that information. So that's a concept that I think we can all grasp, right? So true. But this was a little bit about some of the emphasis of this was me checking myself before I check another person. At the same token, I just wanted to share my experience so that you can and just realize my realization through the process, right? So what's been alluded to is that sometimes it's good to track an index or the likes or sometimes ETFs where it's just diversified automatically in the likes and totally. You're minimizing your fees, right? So that's just common sense. And sometimes fees are what really bites into the profit because the economy is going to do what the economy is going to motherfucking do, baby. So that's simple math in the likes. But at the same token, sometimes it's also intriguing and interesting to get into some of the analytics of analyzing stocks, right? And there's a lot of information out there, and a lot of the work's already done for you. You just got to find it, right? So it's not even in the principles of someone that's got a finance. Whether it be BS or bachelor's or master's or even a PhD, right? Where there's the formulas and the likes as far as actually feasibly looking at like worse and the likes and a lot of this information is just ingrained in you if you have a little bit of intuition and the likes as far as looking at the numbers and also just analyzing the reports. You can have people do those reports for you. So that's what's so valuable. And I'm not trying to push anything on anybody because everybody has different comfortabilities with different stuff and the likes. But at the same token, analyzing stocks and making stock picks and the likes, like what has been suggested is that, your best bet is just diversification, right? The whole stock picking game is kind of, it starts to get into this muddy waters. It's been alluded to that, fucking gambling type shit, let's just roll this dice, man. Let's bet it all, motherfuckers. Let's put this all this cake on the table and just roll the fucking dice. This is where it gets into a little bit of muddy waters and the likes. But there is a whole industry built around this idea, though. So I know there is actual forethought, intuition, and also clarity in a lot of the decisions made by individuals. But again, to emphasize, the economy is going to do what the economy is going to do, baby. So that's what you really ought to be looking towards and focusing on and seeing how political markets are gonna shift and shape the economy, right? And all that mostly is cared about is the economy and likes. But you got to look at all these regulations that come into play and how that's going to affect the economy later on. So I think that's even more important. But of course, you can analyze stocks and likes, and a lot of the reports are out there. So go ahead and if you want to. Obviously, it's a safer bet to just automate and just be simple-minded, and that's like a real pathway for success over 20 or 40 years from historical fate. But don't. I'm not saying anything is anything because history is history, and today's today, right? So that's what I want to emphasize again. But at the same token, I thought this. I was a little bit tooting my own horn because I was having so much success with the analyzation and the likes. Shit like, stock picks going up like 8x in 3 months. You know what I mean? So that's the type of success that I'm like, whoa, this is cool. And this was just like getting my toes wet. But at the same token, getting my toes wet, I was having so much success, right? With 6x and 8x on pretty much the predominant amounts of everything. But at the same token, this is how I had to check myself, right? It's because, this is what was suggested. I saw this, someone said this shit, and I was like, oh, this is some real shit, because you can be a smart motherfucker and still it's just the whole idea that when it's a fucking bull market out here, everybody thinks they're a motherfucking guru. Everybody thinks they're a motherfucking guru. So that's how you got to check yourself. At the same token, it's not hard to win so much when things are going better than if they weren't going better, So Obviously, I mean, I was above that curve in the likes, but at the same token, it's just something you got to keep in perspective, right? Because it's easy to win in the bull market. Everybody's a fucking guru, in the likes. But at the same token, it's so true that what was I alluding to? That the real point of the story is that everybody's a guru during a bull market, but at the same token, what the real winner is in this game is those who could prepare themselves with enough capital base and the likes, making smart decisions, smart plays. This is one of the most critical components. Keeping composure. Keeping composure is such a blessing in the likes, as far as the real strength of a potential investor going forward. Whether you're my age 27 and you're aiming towards that greater capabilities and also that reach and whether it be both influence, affluence, and likes, more of it in the likes, as far as the power of ownership. Because what brings the most power, and again, this has been expressed on intellectualbossmoves.com and a couple blog posts, podcasts, and the likes, is just this: ownership is the only real mark of some real motherfucking power out here. So like, it's this, it's that, and at the same token, what the fuck do you own is the question you should be asking your motherfucking self. And how the fuck am I gonna build these asset columns so that I can fucking not work until you fucking die? Because in capitalism, it has benefits, right? So let's express this. Let me write this down. Okay. Let me give you some information. Literally, in capitalism, right? The whole thing is that there's benefits and there's detriments, right? And although this capitalism in America, at least, that's where I reside, right? Literally has been regulated to some extent, where it's not it's not it is what it is, right? But at the same token, the whole ordeal of capitalism is that it's generated lots of wealth, right? Particularly for a certain segment, but at the same token, even overall, it's been very, very wealthy in the likes, right? But at the same token, sometimes, the whole thing about capitalism too, that the detriment is that, sometimes capitalism will literally work you until you fucking keel over, right? So at the same token, it's so true that sometimes you want to protect yourself by, of course, there is opportunity everywhere. You can't sit back and act like there's no opportunities, right? So at the same token, it's so true that sometimes you got to use whether this or that to your advantage, in the sense that you got to make smart plays so that you can think about the long term, right? And I know that it's not perfect, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel any type of way or make myself feel any type of way or any of the likes, but I'm just telling you that that's a genuine truth, is that, sometimes capitalism does have detriments, right? So sometimes you got to strengthen your mind strength so that you can possibly use it to your advantage. Again, to quote Machiavelli, whew! And I love Machiavelli, man. This shit get you in the zone, man. Machiavelli will knew some shit. And at the same token, an entrepreneur is just one who realizes there's little difference between obstacle and opportunity, and is able to use both to their advantage. So this is what it really comes to, is the whole idea that you got to prepare for the future. As far as I know, it's difficult. I know it's hard in the likes, especially with conventionalism and the likes. But I just do the best you can. So try to pay yourself, whether it be 1% or 2% or 5%. 10%, 15%, or if you're trying to fucking retire by the time, like you're like 16 right now, and you're I mean there's different income brackets and the likes, but the earlier you start, the better off you'll motherfucking be. So just take your time with it, man. Take your time with it, and don't rush anything, and don't do anything too impulsive and the likes, as far as this and that, because some things seem so this, that, but it's seriously, at the same token, is so true that you want to be in control of your motherfucking domain. So I don't mean to cause any turmoil with anybody. I think I'm a pretty nice guy for the most part, but I'm not perfect either. So let's try to understand that. But literally, again, player in control. What it stands for is literally, it's a prototype, but literally be in control of your domain, right? So you have a little bit of say in the trajectory of your destiny, and there is hindrances, there is obstacles, but you can do it, man. I believe in you, and I don't even fucking maybe even know you. So at the same token, what does that say, right? I think if you put your mind to it, you can do pretty much anything. That's just a genuine truth. I really do believe. But again, one of the most critical components of a really, really strong investor that I just wrote down is the whole idea that you got to be able to weather the storm. And this is not perfect because this can be difficult for many and most and likes, right? So same token, just don't do anything so impulsively. Like the quotation suggests, you know, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs, the people that are so impulsive, right? So fucking impulsive and don't understand the logic behind any of the historical patterns, right? They literally get slaughtered, right? So that's a genuine truth, and that's something that's not so fucking profound. And maybe I shouldn't be you know, saying this or saying that, but at the same token, it's so true that, you know, sometimes the information's out there, and I'm just trying to encourage you to keep learning, you know, and just get better if you can. If you're 16, 13, if you're 8 years old on this motherfucker, man, don't mind the cursing, you know, don't do that, you know. But at the same token, besides that, the information can be pivotal, the encouragement, the motivation can be pivotal, you know, sometimes all it takes, you know, like I've suggested, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, then I'm gonna let you go. I gotta get on with my day. I gotta fucking prepare for the rest of the day. But at the same token, it's so true that you gotta shit. You just gotta do the best you can, you know, at the same token, right? So nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So we'll talk very soon. I'm sorry I've been so serious, right? I like that fun too, but at the same token, sometimes life is serious, right? And just trying to encourage you to be all you could be, because you were meant to be great. Even that's only to your extent. You don't have to compete with me, you know, in the likes, but at the same token, sometimes you got to be competing with the man you were yesterday, or the girl you were yesterday, or the woman you were yesterday, right? And not that, you know, everybody, you know, everybody gets older in the likes, but that doesn't mean you can't, you know, at least do your best to, you know, stay on your motherfucking toes, baby. So we'll talk very soon. Let's pray this got recorded, man. Let's pray this got recorded. And I had a really good quotation I wanted to hit you with, but over the head. So we'll talk soon. Keep trucking, keep working hard. One quotation I can remember that I'm going to totally share with you that I have and created is just the idea that, you know, not working hard and complaining is not going to make a shitty situation any better. So, of course, like, you know, like, you got to understand, like, I mean, you know, I know to whom much is given, much is required, but, like, you know, sometimes we're just doing the best we all can, you know, and that's reasonable, right? I mean, I like to set the standard, you know, have everybody fall into that shit like a limbo, but at the same token, it's so true that, you know, we're learning still, right? So, cheers to that. Cheers to more success. Let's get richer. Let's live fuller, more prosperous, more fulfilling lives. And realize that sometimes things are just a stepping stone to the next level, right? So that's all it is, and that's all it is. And let's try to think good thoughts, good things may happen. So we'll talk soon. Again, I appreciate you so much. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. You look beautiful. You look good. You look like you've been working hard. You look like you're gonna find a way because you got a fucking will. There's a will. There's a fucking way. And we're gonna talk about some more serious stuff as far as moving forward. You know, life insurance and the likes, and some of this information that's so critical. And like I've been suggesting, my buddy was like, man, you know, like, you don't have to like kill the podcast game so much if you don't want to and the likes. But at the same token, a lot of people that hear this information, if they were to stumble upon this video, may not even you know, soak game, you know. So it's more to my advantage. But at the same token, you know, there's a few individuals that, you know, did the same to me. So at the same token, if you get some motivation from my videos, or you get some curiosity to go seek out information that's going to help you be a better person, live a better life, maybe create a better life for your potential future wife or children, or retrospectively the opposite, then more power to you, right? So I think it's all good, and I think it's just real talk, baby. And it's not that anything's so important in the likes, right? So, you know, shit, man, like, you know, how's my side look? I smile like a weirdo, a weirdo. Okay, we'll talk soon. Okay, and I'm getting my. Okay, well, it's neither here nor there. We'll talk very, very soon. Okay, pleasure's all mine. Much love. Thank you. Put a like, share. Let the SEO on YouTube and the internet know for all the tags and the likes that this is a very, very important video and that we're headed off in the right direction. I'm just trying to figure out how to raise the quality to even higher tier, right? So, you know, this is my office, and you see how messy it is in the likes. But at the same token, it's so true that I gotta you know, bring it to the next level, because if I'm not better at 30 than I am right now at 27, then I mean, I'm really doing something wrong with this life stuff, right? So, self-explanatory. We'll talk soon. Much love. Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow. Subscribe to the email list on intellectualbossmoves.com. A lot of value. So much information. We're discussing all the stuff in pop culture. Of course, not pop culture, but fucking economics and the likes, you know. So we're all just growing, getting better still. So we'll talk soon. This has been the longest exit ever. I think I take too long on exits, man. I'm sorry. I gotta go. Peace. I kidding. Okay, my phone's ringing. We'll talk soon.